Hello. I haven't recorded a video in a couple weeks. I promised myself I'd record one today. There's been a lot of changes in my life. I don't want this to be about my life. I'm trying to help other people in making these videos. Um, uh, I'm married now, and I'm sure this is going to come out in my videos. I don't want to sit around and talk about me because again, I'm trying to use my experiences to help other people. So the details of my life are details, but should know that I asked God for a husband and God gave me a husband. He asked God for a wife, he gave me a wife. Things progressed very rapidly, but the minute we met, it was very obvious that it was a divine connection. We passed it through other people. It's just interesting because when you change a lot in life, because I've changed pretty rapidly. It's been 4 years since my awakening. I just recently, for my husband, converted to the Hebrew faith as well. So that's a big change. But it wasn't really a big change for me because I kind of started comporting to the standards of the formal faith anyway, prior to even meeting him or knowing what those standards were, if that makes sense. Because my change, a lot of my growth has been organic. But big changes shock people. A silly headscarf shocks people. I kid around with my husband, my now husband Cody, that it's if I was running around in booty shorts and whatever, pierced whatever, and my everything showing, nobody would make a big deal. But then you cover your hair, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" But it's just every single change has been positive. And what I did want to talk to you about today is how people react to change. And I want to have a bunch of videos on how I'm not going to let the reactions of others stall my positive changes. This has been really difficult for me. I know for a fact that I wouldn't have been able to grow as fast as I could unless I put myself in solitude and drew myself away from unhealthy people. The great thing is the void's been filled with some healthy people, my husband being one of them, and I'm making new friends through Facebook or whatever. But however, a lot of the old friends have dropped off. Most people know my story. I was a drug addict, and a few years ago, I gave up drugs. When I was a drug addict, I call her a different person. I was a different person. However, I do agree that I understand that the things I did back then, people can't really compartmentalize. They still see it as me. And it's hard when some people still see the old you because like I'm trying when you change a lot, I'm trying to get used to the new me. Like I'm trying to start to recognize the new me. I call her another person. It's just she's so different. When I was doing drugs, I was living a different life. Now I'm a good woman of God. I everything I do, I look at differently. I've been doing this for a while now, and I changed. I got clean in 2019, and I've consistently not gone back since that day. Since August 29, 2019, I've been a different person. So I mean, anybody objectively can see that the changes I've made in my life have been so consistent. It's been years now that trying to impute the old things on me, I've been too consistent for that to really stand up to any scrutiny. So that's what keeps on happening to me. Like, people want me to be that old person. I don't know if they want me to be that, but I've been really struggling with this. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus at all. It's never been my intention. These videos have caused some great distress among people, and I'm just telling the truth. I am 100% willing to accept accountability for everything I've ever done wrong. I was a deplorable human being for many years, and I've gone to God about that, and I've asked for forgiveness, and I've changed my life, and I've proven it through years of good behavior, years of consistent good behavior. And if anybody wants to, have hurt anybody in the last few years, I will. I haven't though. So I did drugs for many years, and big pharma diagnosed me with mental disorder, which I never had. I know this because once I got clean, it went away. But I did drugs for 15 years, and they put me on all these medicines, which a lot of people do. And I'm very against big pharma because those medicines dull you. I went off my meds. I realized after I'm clean a year that I probably wasn't mentally ill. I probably was a drug addict. I was very scared to let go of the medications, but I talked to a lot of people and they're like, just try, just try. I let go of the medications and my mind, I started to see so clearly. And that's when I got really close to God. It was blocking something in me. They were mood stabilizers. I was diagnosed with bipolar. So once I went off the medications, that's when I started my fasting and my I got really close to God. I went into solitude. I met Cody shortly thereafter, and things did start to happen rapidly, not because I'm crazy, but because I've been being drugged for many years, and that blocked out my high level cognition, my physical brain activity, my reasoning skills, and it also blocked out my feelings. It dulled me very much. And then, when I went off the medication, my world opened up. I started to, whether you want to call it opening your third eye, I got closer to God. I started to see myself more accurately. And once you start to see yourself more accurately, you can start to change for the better. And I've only used my awareness, my higher awareness, to be better and help other people. I've consistently tried to only help other people. So, I did some rapid changing, which might look like bipolar, but whenever I confront someone, I'm like, well, look around my house. It's neat. How am I eating? How do I look? The man I married, look at him closely. Like, you can scrutinize that because he is very much like me. His journey is very similar to mine, that he came to where he is now through intense amount of self-awareness and honesty. And that's why we were able to marry so quickly, because I always kid around that the first year of most people's relationships is them trying to discover all the lies in each other and trying to get to know. Me and Cody met and we're like, okay, this is my story. And I make these videos. He saw these videos. People who watch my videos know me very well because I'm very, very, very honest. Most people aren't. You have to look for them, and I'm very self-aware. So I very much know that I'm not a perfect human being, and I have, some deficits, and I actively work on them. So Cody and I met, it happened very quickly. We didn't tell many people we were getting married because we knew it was divine under God. We talked to some people we trusted. We decided we were only going to talk to people whose lives were together themselves. Unfortunately, from the remnants of my life, I looked in the rearview mirror, and the people in my life weren't doing well. That makes sense because they were in my life when I wasn't doing well. And I wasn't going to take advice from people who aren't doing their lives better. So we got married and we upset some people. I have an adult daughter. Our relationship has been very rocky. When you change, people seem to not care that you change for the better. They're scared with the change. But the reason why I'm rambling on about this is because now a person is going around and she told some people that I'm off my meds. And that, first off, I'm so against big pharma, and that's so injurious to other people, to think they have to be on meds. I never had a mental illness. I was a drug addict. I got involved in drugs. I believe that I was born with a very high level of consciousness because I come from a very good family I had a good childhood for the most part. And my level of consciousness was so high that I had trouble coping with the society that's so sick and so ungodly. And I did drugs to try to fit into society, and I got addicted, and I've been clean for a few years now. But then Big Pharma decided that the best solution to that was to dull my emotions with all these drugs. And then once I went off the drugs, I started to act differently. But again, nobody can tell me how I'm acting worse. I only help people. I only help myself. I look good. My house looks good. The cats are taken care of. Nothing's wrong. So even the person who attacked me, I'm like, well, how explain to me, nobody can. But it's just, I have to I pray for her. I pray for everyone. I know that everyone's not going to understand my path. And I know that if God's watching me and has been watching me, that he's very happy with me. I know this from the core of my heart. So I sleep at night knowing that, but it's like, you think that if you change for the better, everyone's going to embrace you and love you, and it's going to be a big hurrah, but it's not like that. You end up alone. You end up alone for a while. I lost my adult daughter, and this girl that, I was very close to, she and I went different ways, and I've lost a lot of people because the whole, you've changed, you must be manic or bipolar. I don't know what I must be because I'm not doing anything. I understand that getting married so quickly looked weird to this society, but if I went out on Tinder every day this week, and me and my husband waited to have sexual intercourse until we got married, we did it under God. We did it the right way. Not many people do it anymore the right way, and we did. We waited till we were married. But if I say last 2 weeks I decided to sleep with a man on Tinder every night and didn't get married instead, that would have been considered normal in society. And like, so I don't know if I should even listen to, you know, let society judge like people's, you know, views are so skewed. I was called narcissist today by someone who I believe is a narcissist, which I guess is like, you know, par for the course for narcissists. But I've been spending, my husband's actually in the other room. He's listening to me talk right now, but I won't stop obsessing. Like, have I done anything wrong? Maybe I did something wrong. And like, you know, no narcissist in the world would, I'm worried, did I do anything wrong? Did I hurt anyone? And I can't, for the life of me, it seems like I've made some rash decisions, but I'm just such high level of consciousness that I can pretty much assess situations very quickly at this point. And when Cody and I met, even other people met us, like I'm like, oh, you're the one I've been looking for. It was like that. Like I had in my mind what a husband would look like, and Cody came and he pretty much matched what everything I was looking for. I mean, there's nothing about it. We've been married for a couple of weeks, I guess. Let's see, we got married on Friday. So 10 days now, like we are back in Illinois. We haven't fought once. There's some big financial and other decisions we need to make. We've been able to sit through and talk it out. You know, it's been pretty bliss. You know, there's been no discord. We've worked everything out. And I know, like, every day I'm like, yes, this was the right decision, even though it looks wrong to the world. But again, what looks right to the world is very wrong right now. You know, but it's not like I'm like, la, 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 marriage. I did that before, but I'm like, no, this was like the best decision for each of us because, you know, I'm ready to be a good traditional wife. And I made a video about this before I met him, that I am ready to, you know, a submissive wife under the Bible. That's what I desire. And he desired the same thing. And we're both willing to fulfill our obligations as such under, you know, God set out obligations for husbands and wives. These are very dictated in this book that I don't have ever far from me. You know, that's where it's at. It's where it's at. And, you know, I understand that it's not, people spend years before they get married, but look at most marriages, you know. I think there's a very practical approach. He and I looked at each other practically first. Like, that's really how we approached each other. Like, what are you looking for? What do you like? How do we have common interests? We met because we both like to cook, and we both want to start a YouTube channel. It's funny, he's in the other room cooking right now. But that's how we met. And then we realized we had common interests. We talked for a few weeks and we didn't flirt or anything. And then he told me about his faith, and which I've since converted. I knew nothing about being a Hebrew. And he told me, and I'm like, hey, I'm already living like that. You know, I gave up some I'm now comporting to the dietary laws, which I wasn't before because I didn't know about them, but I kind of seamlessly fit into his already stance. And he kind of seamlessly fit into that. And then when we met, we're like, this is a no brainer. Like, why wouldn't we get married? This is ridiculous. We're very good for each other. You know, but I guess I don't have to justify that to anyone. I'm driving him crazy right now trying to, like, I guess I can't make people agree because some people who insult my union have like really, really, really toxic, bad relationships themselves, you know, and it's just a big struggle. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, about, you know, when you get better, you think that people are going to be like ecstatic and there's going to be a parade for you. And like, if you're watching this, get better for yourself because there ain't going to be any parade. There's just not going to be a parade. Okay, I'm going to cut off now. I'm going to start cutting videos daily. I'm going to make Cody bother me if I don't. So have a good night.